Number one, entering the conversation where the prospect is and asking your customers or even prospects you're in good with, what do they prefer when it comes to people soliciting them? And what I meant by that 70-30 split was, let's say you're doing 100% cold calls and you like cold calls. You have 10 or 15 customers that come back to you and say, I much prefer emails. I think it's a smart thing to test and say okay, I'm going to start sending 70% emails, 30% cold calls for the next 30 days and do a test and then figure, okay, how much more reaction or response, sorry, not reaction, do I get from these emails as opposed to the cold calls? And maybe it works because you're correct. Every customer is going to have a different thought. But there's going to be also, in most industries that you go into, there's a general consensus about the frustration. So like, for example, if you ask any of your traffic managers, they're probably a little bit more numb to the increased calling than they were at the beginning of COVID, right? Because everyone at the beginning of COVID went like, I went from 5 calls a day to 25 calls a day. So those become very irritating. Then after 2 years of getting 25 calls a day, it becomes normal, right? So how are you going to take that pattern interrupt and use it for your benefit by entering the conversation? And obviously when it comes to like individual issues and problems, I'm thinking more along the lines of, because obviously you want to be more general to start, and then obviously during a conversation, like we're talking specific cold calling, right? During a conversation, your prospects, if you're listening well enough, will open up to where their mindset is, and not in a general sense like, oh man, like get me a pillow, I gotta sit on your couch, we gotta talk about this. I mean more of just through the fluent conversation, you start picking up clues and little like sprinklings of where their mindset is at. So for me, it would be more of a, entering the conversation where the customer is. How do I figure out how to enter even 40% of the people I connect with, enter the conversation where they're at? And like you and I for Bridger, right? And our team for Bridger, it's how do we enter the conversation where they are with regards to their CRM, right? Are they even looking? Are they frustrated? If they're frustrated with their present CRM, what are they frustrated about? And I think all of that comes with conversation. And I think a lot of salespeople miss probably the best opportunity with what they have with their present clients. Like if you pull those people, pull the people in the shipping department that maybe tender you the loads. What is it that frustrates you? What do you enjoy? And then use those also, after speaking with my clients that I service in similar industries to yours, here's some of the problems. Is that kind of what you're facing? I'd love to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? And at least that way you're kind of adding some substance to the initial connection, as opposed to hey,